I think he's undoubtedly City's most important player. That might be a hot take for some people. Like, who's going to replace Rodri? If he gets injured, City's done.
Also made a show for him being the best player in the world.
Hey man, they had a great performance this weekend.
They did.
Against West Ham.
Slapped them up.
But if we're talking about winners, there's only two teams I see that are winners, and that's City and Liverpool.
Yeah, like we always hear the big six.
Yeah.
Where's City in the big six?
Yeah.
I don't know if they're even in the big six. Like, that seems like a hot take, but they just don't have that history. And I say that as a true love of a City fan. Maybe my answer will change. Not maybe. It will change in the next 5 to 10 years.
Do you think there's another treble in the cards for City?
Do you love the Premier League? Because I know I do. And here at the Footy Culture, we are here to bless you with an exclusive discount from our friends at Fubo TV, where you could stream all the Premier League matches live in 4K. Do you love watching Heung-min Son, Bukayo Saka, Manchester United? All of that is available to stream exclusively here in Canada on Fubo TV. So hit our link in the bio for that exclusive offer. Now let's get into the action.
Welcome back to another episode of the Footy Culture Podcast. I'm the host for today, with the most, Christophe. I'm joined by the regulars over there, the cleanup crew, James and Dan.
How's it going, everyone? How's it going?
Special guest on the couch over here, Julia Ranney. And then beside her is the usual Jason Derulo.
He's back.
How's it going, guys?
He's back.
So we have a lot of stuff to catch up on today. We have some UCL predictions. Obviously, as a City fan, you're still in it. Not many of us are.
Speak for yourself, bro.
We have some Premier League talk because, again, you're a City fan. And then we'll get to know a little bit about your story. Well, we'll leave that towards the end. Let's get towards this more so City talk.
Sounds great.
I would like to start off with the Premier League. So the UCL, this Premier League title race might be one of the best we've seen for a while. Would you agree with that?
I completely agree. I think football fans around the world are absolutely treated to, honestly, some of the best football we've seen in the Premier League. Being at this point of the year, so close, point by point, every single game matters, every single goal matters. And it's really cool not knowing who's going to win. Of course, we all have the teams we want.
Yeah.
And we can have predictions and all of our, betting odds and all that stuff. But it can come down to a simple injury, how a player's feeling one day even. Like, it's the little things at this point. And I think this is truly bringing out the best of the game right now.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, injuries play a huge role. We saw earlier in the season, Rodri, when he went down, it caused problems for City.
Yeah.
You think he's City's most important player?
I think he's undoubtedly City's most important player. That might be a hot take for some people. People automatically go to the big guns like Kevin De Bruyne or Erling Haaland, of course. But to have an impact of a player who, when they're not on the pitch, they lose every single game, that says a lot. And Rodri's a player who also goes on the pitch. He's obviously influential, incredible, but he's so good at what he does, you almost don't really see him in a way, I think. All your attention is, of course, on, some of the players moving up the pitch, the big names. Obviously, the camera's always on Haaland and, KDB and all of that. But Rodri just quietly does his thing, goes in there, gets the job done, and we don't have a backup, which is scary. Like, who's going to replace Rodri? If he gets injured, City's done.
I've been preaching this for a long time.
Yeah.
Rodri, best
He is
player in the Premier League. I've also made a show for him being the best player in the world during the Ballon d'Or time. I could still back that, to be honest, because he's just absolutely irreplaceable anywhere. I think even if they brought in a replacement, it's still not going to match what Rodri does.
No, absolutely not. And I think, talk about Manchester City. This is the golden age of City. Rodri, I've said Haaland a million times. We have some incredible defensive players. Pep Guardiola, literally the god of football. Once he's gone, I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm not, touch wood. He stays a couple of years, of course. But Rodri actually did, an interesting interview really recently on being like, why wasn't I named to the FIFA Top 11? And he was just saying things like, Spanish players, they go under the radar. I'm not somebody who's in the press. And I think that's another really interesting point about why Rodri is just a humble hero.
Yeah. I know Jay's mentioned it many times where, like, players like him who don't really have that social media presence, even having, does he have an Instagram account? I think last week he does have an Instagram account. Like, they don't care to be on camera. And for the most part, like, that's kind of what football is all about nowadays. Who's in the news, who's in the media. if he plays poor, doesn't play well at all. But hey, we've seen a lot of United players with that situation going on right now with Rashford and whatnot. But again, like Rodri is one of those players, again, like you said, under the radar and just does his job and goes home and, enjoys his life. Really.
Yeah, that's the underrated thing about City. They stay scandal free.
Except Kyle Walker.
Yeah. I'm going to say that. Kyle Walker.
But he's still captain, no?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's still captain. And Pep was saying in a bunch of interviews, like, it's not my business to say anything about his personal life. But if the players decide he's still captain, then that decision stands and I won't get in the way. Obviously, there's a lot of social media uproar from the fans. I don't personally know how I feel about it. But at the same time, you got to trust the players. So you got to put faith in your team.
See, that's the difference between a manager that trusts the players and a manager who doesn't. Because we could go off to the other side of Manchester, who pretty much kicked Sancho out of the club because whatever, he wasn't training well or whatever it was.
He spoke out, whatever.
He spoke out. Like Pep Guardiola would leave that behind. You probably wouldn't hear about that.
Well, at the end of the day, I feel like the relationship that Guardiola has with the team that he has now, it's been created from the very beginning. He's been there for so many years. He's had these players for so many years where Ten Hag is kind of just showing up right now and just trying to create a community of his own and his own team really and kind of bring it from the ground up, whereas you can't really compare it to that Pep team and City. It's hard. Yeah, I know.
He's a little bit of a brat. That's what I'm trying to say. But I'm just going to read off the standings right now for the top of the table and just to show you how close everything is. I know I'm sure everyone knows here, just for the fans. Liverpool on 54 with 24 games. Manchester City with 23 games played, 52 points. So they could definitely pass Liverpool for first place with that extra game. Arsenal in third with 24 games played, 52 points. And then fourth place, we have Tottenham, 24 games, 47 points. So the top four is very close. Anybody could still, even
top
Villa,
5,
46.
Yeah.
And then I guess
United 41.
Why fix it down there?
Thanks, man. Thanks.
We don't have to go United.
Thanks.
But that top 5 is very close. Anybody could take that. Right now, I would still say it's either Liverpool or City as the two favorites, but
No Arsenal?
I don't think Arsenal. I don't think Arsenal has got it in their long.
Hey, man, they had a great performance this weekend.
They did.
Against
6-0, bro.
West Ham.
Slapped them up.
But if we're talking about winners, there's only two teams I see there that are winners, and that's City and Liverpool.
I agree with you.
Are Liverpool like winners though?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
No, because we hear about the City-Liverpool rivalry of the last 5 or so years, whatever. Is it really a rivalry though? It's been pretty one-sided.
Yeah.
Gosh, I mean, at this point, again, you think players, like I think a lot of City fans thought Liverpool was going to crumble once Mo Salah got injured in the African Cup. But no, they're just fine.
Yeah.
At this point, again, obviously City appear to be on a high, having KDB and Haaland both fully fit again, having pretty much a fully fit squad for the first time since the beginning of the season is obviously huge, lots of momentum picking up. But as we see, players get injured, players get taken down every single time. I'm slightly worried we're going to lose a crucial player. The vibes go down. City can be very hot and cold at times. They make me stressed. Like their first half against Everton this past weekend, I'm like, we're going to lose.
Yeah.
To Everton at home.
Yeah.
I saw your TikTok at halftime. You're a little
I was very stressed. I was like, no, this can't happen. So, but City does have a knack for finishing games, for pushing through really when they need to. It's that championship mentality. And I'm not trying to bash Arsenal, but I don't think they quite have the level of championship mentality that City does. They're an excellent team, but can they fulfill that championship mentality for the entirety, of the season? I don't think so.
Yeah, that's the thing with City. They've built such a inevitability over the last few years that when in doubt, even if they have their ups and downs during the season, they're almost gonna find a way at the end of the year to just make things happen. Which makes me ask, do you think there's another treble in the cards for City?
I think there's certainly, I don't want to say yes or no, because then people will come for me in the comments, you're wrong or something, because I get that all the time. I think there's certainly a possibility. I think I love what you said about the idea of inevitability. There seems to be this idea of growing and rising intensity going on from the City camp right now. So I think that's just going to continue to domino and push forward. And, moving into a Champions League game in the next couple days is obviously a huge opportunity to gain a little bit more momentum and a little bit more energy. But City fans are also fabulous, as of other teams, of course, but they really are behind City's back. And yes, we do have fans, everybody. City doesn't.
I agree.
Some tough ones, though. Tough ones. I remember going to watch the game last year, and luckily enough, I didn't wear any Man U kit. But they know, like, if you go around that area with a United kit on,
With a little bit of red.
you're not welcome. Yeah,
I
yeah.
just want to like also draw attention really quick to Phil Foden. I think I love Phil, so I'm a little bit biased. So got to give a shout out to our boy from home. But what an incredible season he's having. Where I'm just curious from your guys' perspective. Obviously, I'm biased. Where do you see Phil Foden progressing for his football career? Because people were comparing him. I saw on TikTok too with the amount of hat tricks he's had compared to Cristiano Ronaldo and Gareth Bale. That he's actually had more at his age than they did. So what does that mean about his legacy? I'm just curious. Do you think he's going to be the best player in the Premier League one day?
My opinion on Phil, obviously he's massively talented. I think Pep sees him as like one of his like prodigies in the sense that like academy boy, like we've heard Pep say he's the most talented player he's ever coached, and he coached Messi.
Yeah.
Say also Rico.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
So like he's tossed that around.
Obsessed with everyone.
And
But no, like he's truly one of like the most naturally gifted players on City in the Premier League. And like I said, he's an academy boy, so there's a special like feeling with him, right? So I could see why you admire him so much. But best player in the Prem, I don't know if he'll ever reach that goal output that's needed to really like take over the league, be the face of the league. And I need to see him, since he's English, like there's so many budding English talent. Like I want to see him do it on the international stage. So that would help him a lot.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's like, does he get a starting spot on England though? That's
Right now,
No,
Because what position?
probably not.
Saka's there on the
Probably
right.
still be Rashford on the
Rashford on the left.
Yeah,
He's not a striker, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think Foden's best position is?
Yeah.
Oh my. That's an excellent question because I don't know if he has one. I don't know if
Versatile.
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
found the position or the spot that he thrives in. He's obviously very technically gifted, free flying, free flowing. He can, find his way to the net, but I'm not really sure he thrives in one particular spot yet. And I think that's where, the issue is with Southgate on England is that sort of like, where does he go? Because he's excellent at everything, but you got to find a spot where you really thrive. And he's been pushed around in all sorts of positions. I don't know if he's had time to really hone in on something.
I think maybe that's the problem for him not taking that next step to become one of the best players in the Premier League, that he doesn't have that defined position for him. Like, I actually don't know either what his position is, to be honest. I thought he was going to be like a De Bruyne, like a straight, like when he's gone, he's going to replace De Bruyne, but now I don't know anymore. He's going to go on the wing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think so because while you have this look as like a versatile player and great, like you're a jack of all trades, you could do everything in the toolbox, but I think a lot of the times it's better to be that master of one, find your position, give Southgate that reason to not drop you, right? Because you're defined best in that exact position. Like if he's having a toss up with like Rashford to play on the left wing, for example, like that's a problem because he's way better than Rashford, right? But like he's not like a defined natural left wing, right? So it's tough, difficult.
He's not better than Rashford in February, though. That's his purple patch.
Purple patch is crazy, yeah.
Hey man, we're halfway through February now, so I still don't know where Rashford.
Nah, he's been playing well. Didn't he score the other game? Not this week,
didn't
but the week
score, no.
before, no?
I'd have to.
He did.
I think he did.
I think he scored the past two games, not the last.
Not
game,
the last
before
one.
that,
Yeah.
We'll see.
He's been doing his thing.
There's a question of dynasty because there's this never-ending debate we always have. Is Manchester red or is it blue?
Well, she's sitting next to the red light.
I'm on the blue side. I'm on the blue side of Manchester. See?
Red and blue on the pillows.
Red and blue on the sign.
No, but we always have this never-ending debate. Obviously, historically, Man U had such a dominant period, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and then City just came out from the woodwork and completely, while they were trending upward, Man U was trending downward. So the timing was just so perfect. But in this current day and age, all time right now, is Manchester blue or red?
Right now it's blue. It has to be
Easily.
blue.
Yeah, I'll give it that.
A bunch of Premier League titles coming off of the amazing treble. Like, what a season that was. And it's really important, I think, for City fans just to take that step back and soak in how phenomenal last season was, because City's never had that. Ever. Will we get it again? Who knows? So I think right now it's fair to say that, Manchester is absolutely blue at this present moment. But if we're talking about the history of football in England, it has to be red. And it pains me to say that. But the legacy and the historical culture that Manchester brings to football, to England, to the Premier League, even to the whole world. Everybody knows Manchester United, right? So I think you guys take the cake on that situation.
Yeah.
So, but is there what would it take for Manchester to become blue, like officially? Like,
Historically.
what will take them to that final step?
I think at this point, more consistency. Honestly, more consistency. And for me, I'm somebody, I used to play as well. I'm all about the vibes, and I like truly a coherent unit, a belief, having something you're working towards. Right now, I honestly don't think Manchester United are a coherent, cohesive unit. And I don't know if they really believe themselves enough to push them past Manchester City just from, a team and a backroom perspective. They have so many things going on behind the scenes. So I think fixing those behind the scenes aspects, coming out as a more united front, like not, no pun intended, anything like that, but literally coming out as a more united front, saying, hey, like we're here to fight for our spot and not just mess around, I think is going to be huge.
Don't forget about us kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's still a lot for what City needs to get done for them to really compete with United historic
All time.
I don't.
There's still a lot,
like
lots of years.
Look, I'm all for nostalgia. I love like past footy, but if City get another treble, like that's a serious debate. I think
Back-to-back,
serious.
That back to back is okay, sure, but yeah, again, like two more CLs, then we'll start talking about.
Yeah, they need like a sustained period of dominance. Like if they do it for the next 10 years.
But like you also
I know.
You also have to think about like the players, the history behind the players too. Like obviously United as City have those players now, or there's gonna become like those legends you'll talk about in 10 years. Remember the De Bruyne, remember the Ederson, remember the Haaland, right? There's gonna be those conversations as well. Or now, like you have a countless amount of players you can just think of. United, who do you have?
Yeah.
Like,
A couple of Ballon d'Or winners, I think you need
right?
to.
So
Good point.
And even
needs some
yeah.
Ballon d'Or winners.
Yeah,
yeah,
you
so-
need that.
it's just yeah.
Wait, you were probably upset that Haaland didn't get it the last.
Yeah, definitely. And
They deserved it.
I am so, I love Lionel Messi. I think he's fabulous. Kylian Mbappe, obviously some of the best players in the world. But was it a legacy vote? I'm not sure.
Possibly.
Considering that Messi was injured for half of the season, especially for, the FIFA The Best Award, I was a little cheesed for that. But at the same time, he's one of the greatest. So how can you argue with that? How can you argue with that? But I'm also, from another hand, I'm getting a little heated. But what else does Haaland have to do?
No, go off.
What else does he have to do? I don't think he's gonna break any more records. Like he's already broken them.
No, yeah, I've said it on the show before too. It's like what more, like even going forward in the future, what more can a player do to get that trophy than what Haaland did in the season?
Really?
So,
Historically breaking
like, how
records.
else- what else is the criteria to win, right? So like, it's hard to be topped. Even Haaland probably inside mentally is thinking, I had that such amazing season. How could I even top that, right? And not win.
But he has that mentality. He's gonna keep going. He's gonna want to redeem himself, for lack of a better word. So I think we're still gonna see big things from him now that he's back on the pitch.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to build off a little bit from who's the bigger team, Manchester City or United, but with all the teams in the Prem. Like, where does City kind of rank? Because they were below Liverpool, United, Arsenal. I'm sure there's another team that I'm forgetting, but Chelsea. So where do they kind of rank in that top 5, top 6 area?
From a legacy perspective, you mean?
Yeah, from all time. Did they make their way up at all?
Yeah, like we always hear the big six.
Yeah.
Where's City in the big six?
Yeah.
I don't know if they're even in the big six. Like that seems like a hot take, but they just don't have that history. And I say that as a true love of a City fan. Maybe my answer will change. Not maybe. It will change in the next 5 to 10 years. But I'm a history lover. I'm a culture lover. I'm somebody that really respects, legacy and the past and what that means. And just because I absolutely, love City and I'm very excited to see what they do in this season doesn't mean I can't enjoy and respect what other teams have done for decades past that City just hasn't because they haven't been a thing. You know what I mean? So, you walk down the street in Toronto and you ask somebody, would they know Manchester City? Maybe, maybe not. But they would probably know Liverpool and
Arsenal, United.
United. So I'm just taking things from a very surface level background, going strictly from a historical perspective.
No, you're a very noble City fan. You go on Twitter, like City fans for the most part, especially on Twitter, they're pretty unhinged.
Yeah.
Like very like egoistic, like entitled, naturally, right? Like they've won so many trophies over the last couple of years, but no, you're being pretty honest. It's good.
To be honest, but trying to be realistic.
Yeah.
You know, I think obviously City fan, I'm a City lover, but I'm also a football lover. And I respect all teams to a certain degree. Maybe not United.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay. No,
I won't respect
no
all teams,
comment.
to be honest. City's bigger than Arsenal. They're bigger than Chelsea. My opinion, all time.
You think?
Arsenal, you can't be the biggest. You can't be part of you can't be higher than City with only an undefeated season. Like that's the only thing they say. Like, oh, we're the unbeaten. What are they called?
Invincibles.
Invincible. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, like they want treble. Like, how are you bigger than them?
Yeah.
It's not.
Fair enough.
You don't have to boost City just because we have a City fan now.
Yeah.
No, it's just facts. Chelsea is a little bit iffy, but
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking at like the past decade, then absolutely. But if you're looking at the origins of the Premier League, like they're only a small piece of the pie here.
It's a very old league where
Yeah.
look at Nottingham Forest, man.
Yeah.
You know
It's fair.
how they were back in the day.
I love what you're saying though, so thank you.
Appreciate it.
so we had some crazy news, in my opinion, that Footy might be introducing a blue card. Have you heard about this?
Yes, I have, and I have mixed reviews, so I would love to chat.
Yeah, so it's kind of an odd one. So it's gonna be not necessarily take away the yellow card. The yellow card's still gonna be if there's a foul
In effect, yeah.
in effect, but it's more so if there's dissent or if it's like a last man challenge where it like really does matter, but they don't want to give a red card for it. It's gonna be a 10-minute penalty. So I don't know my feelings on this one. Like, I feel like it should just stick with the yellow and red card because that's what it was, and I don't like seeing change. I didn't like VAR when it came in either, but it's here. Yeah, I just want to know I want everybody's opinion, to be honest.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about this really.
Nice. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Blue cards. There seems to be something new, first of all, in, the football world every day. But this one really took me by surprise. And I think what strikes me the most about this blue card rule is where is the consistency going to happen? There's already inconsistency with referees disagreeing with yellow cards, with red cards. Some referee might say, a tackle or a foul is worth a red card, but the other says it's yellow, and another one says it's nothing. How are you going to decide, and how are you going to streamline who gets blue cards, who doesn't? I think it's just going to lead to a little bit more dissent in the game, honestly. There's already so many questions, like you mentioned, with, VAR and all that stuff. So, I don't know. And like, how many blue cards can you get in a game? Does it result in fans? I don't know. There's just so much to work out, and I think it's just going to lead to more danger in the game, and you're taking away some of the fun, to be honest. Like, you're taking away the aggression and the passion of the game.
Yeah, it's tricky. Yeah, the tricky thing with the blue card, it makes it come way too opinion-based, right? Because like you said, if a foul is like, it's a last man kind of challenge and it's too soft for a red card, it could be a blue card. Like, different refs are going to judge that differently, right? So it's tough. I'm all for trying new things. I like when they test new things. I know Wenger said once that he would love to try kick-ins instead of throw-ins.
Yeah.
Right? But like his theory behind that was when a ball goes out, like, it's your ball, right? But when you have a man that's throwing in the ball, you're down players on the pitch. You have one less player than the other team. So technically you're at a disadvantage, right? So like the ethos makes sense a little bit, but this blue card, I don't know. It's too opinion based. Like there's not much technicality with it. So it'll cause a lot of problems, I think.
Yeah, how about the cleanup crew over there for you guys?
Like you guys said, it's gonna have now. You have a third option in choices, right? Like you said. So if it's a decision between the yellow and the red card, you're already seeing now players getting yellow cards for even just talking to the ref, or even like just having a comment in the Premier League. I know they mentioned that they probably like lowered, I guess reduced that a little bit, where refs can actually have a conversation now with some players. But at the beginning of the season, you're seeing like players right, left, and center, like just getting yellow cards, and right. And then you start seeing blue cards. How many? Yeah, like you said, blue cards in the game. How many are you going to get? 10 minutes is a long time. I feel like a lot of time is going to be wasted there too, having to get that player off the pitch, bringing them back on. Like, time now is already being wasted like crazy. and that's also one of the ideas they had. There wasn't like a stopping time. Kind of like, just wanted to kind of like have the time stopped while in play. So there's always going to be something new. I know. I feel like it won't happen. I personally think the blue card won't happen. They obviously have to go through a lot of testing first, so like lower leagues and whatnot. So I want to see how that plays out. I think they did try out to kick in like the U17, like eight of the VZ league.
They tested it out, yeah.
But again, there's always that trial run. I know someone out there probably heard something and just tweeted it, and everyone's like, "Oh, going crazy about it." But I honestly don't think it's gonna go far with it. I don't know. It'll be weird, personally.
Yeah, I think it's going to get too messy. I think they're already having trouble with yellow and red cards sometimes. Sometimes you see a challenge, it's a foul, but not a yellow, and you think it should be a yellow. Sometimes they don't know if it should be a red or a yellow. And there's always going to be those fans that are always going to think it should have been a red. And now I think when you introduce a blue card, now it's like, is a blue worse than a yellow?
Yeah. Do you go to VAR for it now?
Is it?
Because I know you can't go to VAR for yellow cards. You can go only for red cards.
And then it's like, hey, can you go to VAR for a blue card?
But like then now more time is being wasted.
Exactly. So now the game's going to be an extra 10, 15 minutes after the 90 minutes. And then do blue cards accumulate? Like if I get 2 blue cards in a game, what happens? Do I then get a yellow? Then what's the point of the blue? Right? It's like, it doesn't make any sense. Right?
It feels like we're in art class.
Yeah. Primary colors. But I don't know. I don't know. I personally think it's a little too much, I think. There's already a lot on the refs' plates. They're already being like absolutely harassed every game, it feels like. Every week they did something wrong.
I don't see any benefit in being a referee. Like, that's got to be the worst job.
You think?
When are you ever getting praised?
Yeah,
it's straight ridicule.
I could not do it.
It's straight ridicule. You're going home, like, everyone's mad at you. There's controversy about you. Like, so much important decisions are in your hands.
People do it. The people who do it love power. That's why they do it.
Yeah.
They're in charge of these 2 huge or whatever clubs they are, and all these fans.
I feel like there's a lot that needs to be that needs to be like focused on first and organized and perfected in a way.
And then
before
you
start
can
introducing
blue
new
card.
things.
Yeah.
There's so much for VAR being how many years you've used it now, still not being perfected. You're seeing it differently in Premier League and than it is used in CL, La Liga, or Serie A. Like. It's ridiculous. It's kind of ridiculous to me.
It's like football is obviously such an emotional game for the fans, but for the players too. Like you see the passion on the pitch. So it's almost like this player, if they get a blue card, they're sent out to the timeout zone. They're gonna be so angry and upset.
And that too, like imagine bringing a player back onto the pitch 10 minutes after, and they're like they have to be warming up for the 10 minutes, like on a bike. Because if they go back in, they're cold. They're gonna get cramped up or pull something.
To way more
injuries.
A story for The Guardian. It's a little shameless plug on that. So using AI to curb injuries, especially ACLs, hamstrings in football, and they're saying like the injury crisis is absurd.
Yeah,
absolutely absurd. You can look at every single team. They have a slew of players out at any given time. So what's that gonna do? You're cold. You step onto the pitch. You tear your hamstring. You're done.
Yeah.
So yeah.
True.
Yeah. So this is already a confusing topic as it is. I want to make it even more confusing.
Oh, no.
So
Please do.
as most of us disagree with this blue card, well, another rule of this blue card is if a goalkeeper receives a blue card, it will force teams to choose between sticking an outfield player in goal or making a permanent substitution under these new sin bin trials. So
what?
If the goalie came out, let's say fouls a guy, the guy puts the ball around and fouls him.
Yeah.
He gets a blue card. So now he's in the sin bin for 10 minutes. They could either put one of the players in the outfield in net, or they got to make a substitution to bring in their second goal.
So it's not a penalty shot.
That's a ridiculous. No, it could be, but just like it'd be a blue card instead of a yellow card or a red card. If the foul is done in the box, I'm sure it'll still be a foul and penalty.
Yeah, it is.
But it just the goalie would have to be sent off.
So they'd get a penalty, and they'd have to sub their goalie out and put a player in net for the penalty shot, or they have to put the backup goalie in and use a substitution.
I thought I read they'd have to put a player out.
Huh?
You take a player out the pitch.
Like that would make like
that's how
a little more sense.
Yeah, that's how hockey is.
That would make a little bit more sense.
Apparently in the sin bin trials, I don't know.
I think they need to rethink that.
Yeah.
It's
What
ridiculous.
happened to the game I love?
Yeah.
You said you liked it.
Yeah, I know.
No, I didn't say anything about the blue card.
That's true. He didn't still.
Oh, it's too much, right? Like, bring football purity back.
Yeah.
Like,
Real.
yeah, I'm all for rule changes in the terms of like VAR. Like, it helps clean up the game in a way, which is great, right? Like, some decisions that shouldn't count, like they start counting, right? So it's difficult, but I don't know about the blue car. I think I'm off it.
We're all here confused off of the rules too. Everybody else in the world is confused. That means we're all going to be confused for perpetual time, and it's just going to be a rising state of descent.
100%.
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting, and especially like on the world stage as well. Like let's say in a Euro or World Cup, bring this blue card in,
Yeah.
like that could change a game like immensely. So I'm interested to see what happens, but like I also don't want to see it happen. So
Yeah, keep us updated on.
Yeah.
I'll keep you guys updated.
Thank you.
So let's start with our UCL predicciones.
Yes.
Because we do have UCL coming up, and I believe today's Monday. So
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
So tomorrow's games, we have Leipzig versus Real Madrid and Copenhagen versus
Manchester City.
Ooh.
So we'll start off with Leipzig versus Real Madrid because this is no one's team here. Me personally, I'll start off. I got Madrid in this one, winning this leg specifically 2-1, and I think they'll go through on both legs as well. So yeah, for whoever wants to go next,
I'll
go
top that.
ahead.
I hate to say it because I am a Barca fan, but Madrid are the best team in the world, especially in UCL environments. They just thrive, and Vinny's red hot right now. Bellingham's red hot right now. So I can't see anything but a Madrid dub, quite frankly.
I'm going to agree as well. I do think Leipzig will actually put up a little bit of a fight.
Always do against Madrid.
Always do. Like you said, Madrid, the kings of the Champions League, undoubtedly. I also have them winning. I'm going to go with 3-1, but we'll see.
Okay.
Clean up crew, anything?
I'm going to just agree with Jay. Vinny's hot. Rodrigo's performing really well as well. And Jude Bellingham, best player in the world at the moment. So nothing, you can't really say much there.
Well, I mean, seems like you guys didn't do your research.
What is it?
Bellingham's out for 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, is he injured?
Where you guys been? I got Leipzig. I personally got Leipzig. I know maybe a little bit of Bundesliga bias.
Just try to be different.
First leg,
Always.
brother, first leg, no Alaba, no Militao, no Rudiger, no Bellingham, no Courtois. They're gonna be playing Carvajal and Chouameni at the back.
I'll be fine.
Goodman's been pretty good at the back.
I know he's been decent at the back, but that's a lot of injuries missing. And I think Bellingham's going to be a big miss too. I know you can bring in Modric, you can bring in Cruz. They have a wealth of players, but I think it's going to be a tight game. And I think Leipzig's going to take the first one, Madrid will take the second one, and then eventually go through. But the first one, I think you're missing a lot of players.
Even Brahim Diaz, though, he stepped up last weekend or the game before that.
Bellingham was playing in that game though
City
too.
product.
Yeah, I know. I rate Brahim. I rate Madrid. Madrid have a great team, but I think the first leg, Leipzig's going to take it. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, and then Madrid's going to come back, and then they're going to do their thing. That's my opinion.
I doubt it. But
I know. Someone's got to say it. Someone's got to say it still.
So the next game was Manchester City versus Copenhagen.
Oh.
A team that actually knocked Manchester United out.
Oh,
Hey, man,
wow.
they're not an easy side.
So
Beware, be careful out there. Rooney, he's talented.
not Wayne, but it's gonna be. I mean, I think it's gonna be absolute thrashing. I think it's gonna be like, I'm gonna say 4-0 first leg, because that City team's they're pretty much unstoppable at this point.
I like it. I like the positivity. That's great. But City can't keep a clean sheet for the life of them, so we will concede something for sure. City, obviously, I think will go through as well. But I also don't think City should underestimate this Copenhagen side. They bit off more than they can chew, I think, in the first, the group stage of the
Yeah.
Champions League. I was very impressed how they played and how far they got. But at the end of the day, City will go through. This is very much to me a David versus Goliath kind of match.
Yeah.
But City, I think, will start slow and build from there as the pressure rises.
And then they'll just sub in De Bruyne in the 60th minute, get two assists.
Fresh legs. Everything will be fine.
Missing Kovacic and Guardiola and Gomez. I don't know why. There's no official statement on that.
Rest.
Yeah.
Rest.
not the biggest options to miss.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. City. I mean, the lackluster side they're playing against.
Yeah.
City coming in pretty hot. Obviously, Foden's hot. De Bruyne back in action. Haaland. So, I got City easily. Big result too, like Chris said.
Yeah. Easily, sure. I'll agree. I'll give City their win here tomorrow.
Unless Copenhagen.
Who, me? Nah, chill.
You guys forgetting something.
Well, to be fair, you guys all forgot that Bellingham was injured for the next 3 weeks. Anyway, no, I think City will win. Copenhagen, obviously, they did their thing in the group stage, but the group stage is different than obviously playing in the knockouts, and I think City are going to come to play. I know in the group stage they got a couple of results here and there. They played well against Bayern, but Bayern this season haven't been the greatest. I think City have been much better than them. So I think City will handle things easily. Haaland will score a couple, make sure he wins himself that golden boot, and then they'll move on to the next round.
Easy.
Interesting. All right. So Wednesday's games will be Lazio versus Bayern Munich and PSG versus Real Sociedad. I don't mind those two matchups. They seem like
A little better.
than that. We'll start with, I guess, Lazio Bayern. Bayern just got in by Leverkusen. Looks like they might lose the league for the first.
They just got destroyed.
10
by
years.
Leverkusen.
11 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. So this is a perfect time for Lazio to get a result against Bayern. But is it going to happen? So Harry Kane probably brace 2-0 Bayern.
I'm also going to go with Bayern. I think it will be a better game than what people are anticipating. I think people always like to go in hot for the favorites. And I do think at this point, pressure can get to a lot of teams as well. But Harry Kane will step up to the occasion. This is his year to get a trophy, as we all know.
That's what we thought.
Harry Kane curse is crazy.
They're, not doing as well in the league as what they have been doing in the past, like slight ups and downs as well. So I'm still going to go with probably the same result as you.
Yeah.
Harry Kane might never win a trophy.
Poor guy.
Curse is crazy.
The curse is crazy because, Bayern have been a fantastic side the whole decade, and then Harry Kane comes by and they're not favorites anymore to win the league. So it's tough scenes. But no, I still got Bayern, great players, Champions League pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
And you need Champions League DNA when it comes to the knockout stages in CL. And Lazio aren't it this season, are they?
No.
So
They're 8th right now, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, they're around there.
they've been quite poor as well. So I got Bayern.
I agree.
Dan's just coming very opinionated today.
You guys kind of like already hit the.
Yeah.
You guys have all the points already.
We'll start
So.
with you guys for the next one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. No, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think like you guys said, I think Bayern are gonna win. I think Lazio are gonna hold like 4 or 5.
Oof.
Like I think they're gonna get absolutely slapped. I think the worst thing you can do is come up against Bayern after they lost an important game.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing that can happen. We saw it with Dortmund earlier this year. Bayern got knocked out of the cup by a 3rd, 4th division side. Went to Dortmund, absolutely battered them. Battered them. It was like 4-1. It was 4-1. They absolutely battered them. And I think the same thing's going to happen to Lazio. They just got spanked by Leverkusen. They're now 5 points back from first in the league. Tuchel's job's not safe. They're talking about Mourinho taking over for Tuchel at Bayern as well. Müller just absolutely went off in the press conference after the game. So I think they're going to come in hot. They're going to come in hungry. They're going to come in, with something to prove. And Stevie, I'm sorry, man, but I think Lazio are going to hold like 4 or 5. It's not going to be pretty. It's really not going to be pretty.
Yeah, I can see that though. It's going to be a rough for Lazio, man. That's a rough.
I actually saw Thomas Müller post game
You see him?
going off.
He went
And
nuts.
people were asking, is he swearing or just speaking German?
Yeah,
He was going.
he was going nuts. Yeah.
But I liked what he was saying. I don't know the exact quote, but he was basically saying, we can't be so structured and calculated. We need to give players freedom,
Mhm.
like similar to how Xabi Alonso does. Like they're playing like through instinct. It's great,
Yeah.
like collective football, but you're reacting with instinct instead of like a calculated plan, right? Which
Yeah.
obviously I hate structure. I love just madness and action. So
Yeah.
I read it.
Yeah.
Go Muller.
All right, we'll let the Clip Crew start this one. But the
Oh.
game is PSG versus Real Sociedad. So
We got to start this one.
you're going to start it.
Go ahead, sir.
Honestly, I don't know, PSG, I feel like they're a little bit of a mixed bag in the group stage. Obviously, I know they're in Dortmund's group, so I saw them quite a bit.
They're fortunate to get out of that group.
Yeah, they were lucky to get out of that group. Some games they look strong, other games they got slapped by Newcastle, and Sociedad have been strong this season. So I think, honestly, first leg, I know it's not going to sound like a bit of a cop-out. I'm going to go for a draw because I think, like...
PSG at home.
Huh?
PSG at home.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a draw. Sociedad have been fantastic this season. They've cooled off a little bit, I think, from the start of the season. I think they're a little bit hotter. But PSG, they just really haven't blown my skirt up this season. They haven't done anything that's kind of got me, hot and bothered watching them play. If it's not Mbappe stepping up, who's it going to be? Kolo Muani hasn't really been doing it. Ramos hasn't really been doing it. Other than that, Dembele is even playing? I don't even know. So if it's not Mbappe, it's not going to be anyone. And I think Sociedad are going to go in with a game plan for Mbappe, and then they're going to make everybody else beat them. And I honestly don't think they'll be able to. So I'm going to go for a draw.
Yeah, like I said, PSG were really lucky to get out of the group stage. I feel like they're never ready to come up against a team that's not in Liga. Because they go up to Liga and week in, week out. Oh, it's it's Nantes, it's Clermont, it's Lille, it's Rennes.
Yeah,
it's an easy in their favor always. But coming up against some teams like Newcastle, they lost that one game. Dortmund, they don't know that football. I don't think they're ready for it. So they might come to this game unprepared, and Sociedad might step up and bring them the thunder.
Yeah.
But like James said, I can see a draw. But again, you can never doubt PSG. You can never doubt Mbappe. You can never expect anything less from them. But I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think it'll be a close game, in my opinion.
I think this is the first big game for Mbappe since the Madrid rumors came out.
Oh yeah.
So he might be coming out onto the pitch with a little bit, not something to prove, but hey guys, maybe I'm committed to PSG because he's still a PSG player. So
is he gonna kiss
a job to get done?
Kissing the badge if he scores?
Yeah. He might. He's gonna come out firing, I think. So I got PSG.
Yeah.
I also have PSG, but I think it will be a very close game. It'll probably be low scoring also, probably 1-0 or something like that maybe. But everybody loves PSG. PSG, they're the big names, obviously, but they're a very beatable PSG team, I think, right now.
Yeah.
And my problem for me with Sociedad is they have a little bit of a goal scoring problem, in my opinion. So I think if they can, solidify their defense, they have a decent defense, I think, find the way to get the ball through. That would be their key to the game, even on things like, I don't know. Oh my God, got my words there.
Set pieces.
Thank you. Set pieces, exactly.
Got you. Yeah.
All time.
Take advantage of those set pieces. That's their key to the game, in my opinion. But yeah, Kylian Mbappe scores one, pushes themselves there.
Yeah, I think James forgot about something. But because Sociedad's been pretty bad recently.
Yeah.
The past 5 games, they only have 1 win.
They've had countless of draws though.
Shit ton of draws. They have 10 draws.
I didn't say they were gonna win. Said they're gonna draw.
They've been in pretty bad form going into this game. But not to say that PSG's been good, but PSG, I believe, are in second place in Liga.
No, they're in first, man. They're running away with 10 points ahead.
I swear Nice was close.
No,
Okay.
Nice kind of fell off.
Nice at 39, PSG with 50.
Oh, okay, so I'm close. All right,
exactly.
PSG.
I don't even think anyone talks about Liga anymore.
Yeah.
It's just
it's like the 7th best league right now.
I know Nice were hot at the beginning of the season. Everyone was talking about Nice at the beginning because they were undefeated for a bit, and then now,
Coach,
no one, the Italian guy. Now no one cares anymore. League's done.
League's done.
Anyway, yeah, PSG 2-1.
Yeah.
2-1.
Yeah.
Actually, 1-0.
Oh, okay.
PSG. I'll switch it up.
All right.
But yeah, that's the CL games for this week. Do you have a winner for the season?
Gotta say Man City, obviously.
Realistically?
Realistically, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Let me just say, I don't know if I can fairly predict right now who's gonna win and who doesn't.
Yeah.
Up to Supercomputer says Man City by 36%,
Oh wow.
Oh,
which is very high. Very high, probability. We'll see. I don't know. Can't discount anybody, I don't think. And the beauty of the Champions League is that you can predict things, but you never really know what's going to happen.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
I was working the Champions League semifinal where City lost to Madrid with all those extra time goals.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
So at that point, we thought we had it in the bag, but then no, you can't count out any last minute drama. So.
Especially with Madrid. All that black
No,
magic
actually,
going
at
on.
that game. I think it was at City, Manchester, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Madrid fan. He said that was the best
that would have been.
game he's ever seen in his life.
Yeah. At one point, in the 90th minute there, or a couple minutes before, the odds were 99% City to go through.
Damn.
Madrid 1%, and then
That black magic.
It was Benzema, right?
Yes,
Yeah, Benzema won.
Off.
and that's what happens in the Champions League. All you need is that 1%.
Yeah. Knockout football. It's knockout
Imagine
football.
betting while they were all the way down there, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
would have been fun.
Cash out.
I know.
Yeah, but since Okay, since we're done with the UCL, let's just wait, were you about to say something?
No.
Oh,
Go
okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, you laugh. We just want to know kind of how you got into sports media.
Of course. So a bit of a journey, a bit of an unlikely journey as well. But I guess I'll start out, when I was young, I played sports. I did everything in Canada: soccer, volleyball, tennis, badminton, basketball. Played all the sports, not hockey, which is very Canadian, obviously.
Nice.
Not hockey. And I always had this passion for news and for storytelling. And, at that point, I had to decide, what was I going to do for university? And I went into journalism school at Toronto Metropolitan University in Toronto, of course. And I just thought I was going to do things like hard news, culture news. I just loved giving people information. And at that point, I never even considered that sports journalism and sports media was literally a career.
Yeah.
It was just kind of something you watched, something you enjoyed, something you followed. And, you get caught up in all the action of all the games and playing yourself. And you don't realize the amount of people behind the scenes it takes to put on these leagues, these games, these TV shows, these organizations. So I ended up taking a sports journalism class when I was at TMU. And the prof there was Dan Berlin. Now he did American football. He was on TV and all that stuff, but he really took a shine to me. I saw potential, in him. He was very nurturing, very encouraging, and basically just said, doesn't matter what gender you are, doesn't matter what sport you like, doesn't matter where you are in the world. We need people to tell the stories of sports.
Yeah.
And this is why we're also sitting here today, telling the stories of sports, because sports connect with people. And there are people with passions for different sports, and, you got to share that passion throughout the world. And that was kind of a really eye-opening experience. And I thought, I can share my passion, but also make it a career and, help others connect around the world as well, specifically, with football, the sport that I loved. So at that point, he encouraged me to, join the university squads. I began reporting the teams for TMU, so soccer, volleyball, basketball, kind of everything. Writing game reports, match reports, profiles, interviews, previews, kind of all that fun stuff. And it was like the best. It was work, but it didn't feel like it. And that's how I knew this is what I wanted to pursue. So from there, just basically built up a portfolio of written work. And at that point, I was written journalism and finished my degree. Pandemic hit. Well, we're like, what are we going to do? Moved home. I was grateful enough to move home with my mom and my brother. And, trying to get online jobs. I was like working in the little art gallery in Stratford, just figuring out that's my hometown, Stratford, something to do. And just started Googling like writing jobs, sports, like that kind of thing. And lo and behold, freelance journalism came up. We didn't even learn that in school, which is crazy to me that you can be a freelance writer, freelance content creator, anything.
Yeah.
So, but what actually happened was I was watching Premier League with my brother one day. Man City, obviously, because we're both, City fans. And he goes, haha, Julia, you like football, you like writing. It would be so cool if you could write for Manchester City. And I was like, that's the dream, but that's hilarious. I'm like a 23-year-old girl from Canada. I haven't written for any major sports team or publication outlet. But I'm a type A Virgo. And I was like, this is just going to be stuck in my mind. It's an itch that wouldn't go away. Basically, so I went on LinkedIn, did my creeping skills, and found the managing editor at Manchester City on LinkedIn. I sent him a message. He somehow read it like 2 minutes later. I was like,
Oh, wow.
The power of a cold DM.
It's cold DMs. That's exactly how it happened. I've only grown my career through networking and cold DMs.
For real.
The only way I've grown my career, for sure. So anyways, I literally sent him these assignments that I did on the TMU soccer team, like, a small university team, and he read them and said, I have good writing abilities. I have good reporting abilities. Sure, if you have a passion for Manchester City, why don't you do some writing for us?
Sweet.
And at that point, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Oh my gosh. But I don't think I really clued in how big of an opportunity.
Did you show it off to your brother? Look what I got. Look at this message.
First of all, I should preface, we are literally best friends. We're not competitive people. So he was shook as well. But at that point, now that I see the magnitude of Manchester City, of the Premier League in general, I almost reflect back now and be like, that was wild that even happened, because the amount of people who would die to be in that opportunity is like tenfold. So, but I think, when I asked him, why did you pick me? Like, why did you give me the opportunity to write some stuff for you and Manchester City, report on the best teams, if not the best team in the world right now? And he said, because you had confidence and you had passion and you had something to say. And I think people underestimate the power of confidence and passion and wanting to fulfill your dreams. So that's sort of my, I guess, take home from this whole thing is you can do things if you put your mind to it. Sure, it's going to take work, obviously, and I'm very lucky that it happened the way that it did. But don't give up on things, because I'm literally a 26 now year old woman from Canada working for Manchester City.
Awesome.
The Premier League. It's like pretty wild. So from there, obviously got a great portfolio through Man City, and I pitched ideas and work to other sports outlets, other teams. I write now for West Ham Women, which is really cool to get into the WSL side of things. But my main stream of work and income is with Sportsnet. I do a lot of soccer stuff for Sportsnet, among other things. Write about the Premier League, WSL for The Guardian, so obviously in the UK. Some stuff for the Toronto Star, and started up my TikTok last summer. So
Nice.
trying to get into the social world, do more podcasts. But it literally, this whole thing started with one random LinkedIn message that I did on a whim one day in 2021. I don't think I would be here if I didn't send that one message.
Like in this exact room right now.
Get deep.
Yeah.
Like the butterfly effect is so
Yeah.
like 100%. I've met some amazing people. I did the Women's World Cup last summer with Caroline Salome. She is
Legend.
Yeah.
amazing.
You've had her on the show.
Yeah, she's an amazing mentor to me. And really, sometimes I have imposter syndrome. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, everybody can write, everybody can talk about the sport that they love, but I also just have the confidence to put myself out there and keep believing in myself. And that's what you guys are doing here. You know, you're putting your stuff out there in the world for people to love and to connect with, to have ideas on, to build with. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So I just tell people, keep pushing, keep reaching out. It's a networking world,
Yes.
changing world. It's all about who you know. So yeah, that's my story in a nutshell.
It's actually crazy. That just hearing that story just gives me goosebumps because that's actually like very interesting how you just threw out a DM and like your life changed just like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's similar for us, but not to like that crazy extent because you got like Man City, like that's crazy.
That's emotional. Yeah.
But
Like
And you dropped so many great gems for the audience here. Just believing in yourself, putting yourself out there, not taking no for an answer, and just putting yourself in those rooms. It's beautiful to hear. I know the viewers are gonna love that.
Yeah, and I mean, I did things that anybody else could do. I got professional photos done. I got a website. I made it for free on Squarespace. I didn't know a single thing about making a website.
I saw you were getting a photo shoot done there.
Yeah.
Shoot, I got a branding. It was sweet. I was like, wow, I've never like looked this great in my whole life. Like full face of makeup and everything does wonders. But your look, what you put out there, like I know I've said this a million times, but confidence is absolutely key. There are people out there who are probably better writers, better speakers than me, but they don't have that belief, that self-belief, or that drive or that passion to move forward. And, you know, fortunately, it's a world we live in that's very self-made these days. There's a lot of competition out there, but there is space for people who have genuine interest and also something you can bring. Like with Man City, I just, I asked for feedback every single day. And I said, what can I do to be a better writer, to be a better reporter, to be a better employee, to be a better person, literally anything. And having a genuine interest in something and a willing to learn makes people want to invest their time and energy in you.
for sure.
They saw that in you, and I'm sure that meant everything to them.
Yeah. And we still keep in touch. I don't do, as much work with them now as what I would like to do, just with living across, the ocean, literally. It's a little bit more difficult, and they change their HR systems and all that stuff. But they're great friends. They're great mentors to me. When I go over to visit my brother who lives in London, England, they're like, yeah, let's, grab fish and chips and all the English things that you do. And I'm just like, it's crazy to me. It doesn't feel real. It's,
They gave you your start.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's important to always stand out from the rest as well. As much as you can be confident, you can just go out there and reach your goal, but just always standing out from the rest is always important, I feel like, as well.
One thing that was kind of interesting too is when I kept kind of asking him, I'm not trying to be annoying, but I'm like, why did you pick me? Like, must be thousands of people in England that do these things. And he said, Julia, like, your message you sent to me on LinkedIn and over email didn't have a single spelling error. It's like, that's the bar? Having a spelling error in your networking cold email? And he's like, I'm going to be honest. People have grammatical errors, spelling errors. They'll spell names of players wrong.
Probably
Wow, my days.
Slang. It's not professional. And I'm just like shocked.
Yeah.
Wow. So like attention to detail, like, you know, like that's important. Even the small things. So
Yeah.
that gave me a laugh for sure.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guys, hard work and passion beats talent, and Julia is a great example of that, as you can tell by her story, right?
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
It's so emotional.
So that's a very emotional. Yeah.
Christian, I work hard. Let's go.
So, to piggyback off that question, how did you become a City fan?
Yeah, so City is a team where a lot of people can bandwagon now, of course, with all of the winning
Of course.
championships and whatever.
Glory hunting.
Exactly, recently. But for me, it goes back a little bit. So my family, we have English heritage. My grandparents specifically are from the Manchester area. And at that point, they really wanted to support the little underdogs, the other team, give them some fans, you know? And really, it's basically just been since my grandparents' era going through to my parents and, you know, obviously now to my brother and I. So it's been sort of a familial kind of passing the baton kind of thing, but also due to, you know, our family being from there. And it was just something we did when we were young is, you know, on the weekends, we would sit with our little cups of tea, whatever, and watch Manchester City in the Premier League. And of course, you know, other Premier League games too. So it really was just something we did because it was in our culture, our family history. And I remember having this huge shock going to school in elementary school and being like, oh, do you guys watch the soccer? No, nobody did. It was like, oh, you didn't watch the Maple Leafs this weekend.
No one's watching soccer in Stratford.
No,
Damn.
no, very much a hockey town. Absolutely. But, you know, when I was a little kid, I just thought that was normal. Everybody did that. But it very much, I've learned, is not a normal thing for a young kid to be watching the Premier League on the weekend. But I do account that, obviously, to our English heritage. And it's just been something ingrained in our blood, I think.
Usually you hear stories where like it's your father or your brother, you know, like a specific team. You like the opposite team just because you like to like, you know, you the rival. I don't know, Chris's dad. Well, your dad's a Juve fan.
It's my brother.
It's his brother. He's a Milan fan. And we heard other stories where like, you know, you're a Juve fan because, or you're a Liverpool fan because, you know, your father was the opposing team. So
Yeah.
nice to hear that you stuck to the
roots. Stuck to the roots.
You're forced to be a City fan.
You're forced.
You were in blue.
It's still a choice. I love it. It's so fun. Like even, you know, my family, we're living in all parts of the world right now. And we still in our family group chat during every City game, we're texting the whole time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Especially my mom. I love her, but she gets so heated. Oh, it's literally the best. And she says the funny mom things like, come on, boys. Oh, why did you just Haaland's open? Just pass it to them. It's easy. And I'm like, Mom, it's not easy.
Yeah.
They text or they voice chat notes.
Yeah.
Oh, the banter amongst the family, the passion, the energy. It's something that's obviously, you know, been in our life forever, but something I'm trying not to take for granted because it really is a special thing that brings people in our family together, and not every family has that opportunity.
Oh, for sure.
But it's cool. No, I mean, if I had passion for another team, I would definitely cheer for them, but I don't.
So that day when Real Madrid had a 1% chance of winning and ended up winning, that group chat was very quiet then.
Or maybe rowdy.
Or rowdy.
It was a bit of crickets and tears. My brother was in tears.
Oh.
That's passion. That's passion.
Yeah,
Never ate
the
it.
best. I've never seen him cry, and it was very emotional. I just remember feeling very low, but I also had to write a reaction article, so I was in a bit of a working mode. So it's very different than being a fan.
Tears as your.
I was just like upset, but then I also had to try to remain objective.
Yeah.
That's
You
tough.
have to be objective in sports journalism.
For sure.
Even writing for City, you have to say great things that the other team did and bad things that City did, and
Yeah.
defensive backline. You know?
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate, but thankfully came back, you know, obviously years afterwards. But yeah, it wasn't great.
No.
It wasn't great, but that's the sport.
Okay, that's what we
That's the
love.
sport.
Is your brother older than you or are you
We're
older?
actually twins.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Nice.
He's 5 minutes older than me. I do
Damn.
have to give a shout out to Alex.
I'm a twin as well.
Oh, it's the best.
I'm the older one too.
How many
guess-
minutes? How many minutes you got?
About 5 or so minutes, I think. Yeah.
Nice. Did you ever get the telepathy situation?
No, sometimes we'll say things at the same time. Just thoughts. But we have
Trying to say things.
we have similar interests and stuff. So like we do this together. We do all this together. We're obviously great football fans of each other. He's a Barca fan. I'm a United fan.
How'd that happen?
Yeah.
Used to be a United fan and switched.
As I can say, I'm sure he's the same way as well. Like we're definitely football fans first, and then we have our passionate teams, of course, like United. But I'll wake up any morning and I'll watch City versus West Ham, but also watch City versus Arsenal for sure.
Yeah.
Because I love to watch the sport first, rather than I won't even only watch United games or this.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like I love talking about it, I love seeing it and playing it as much as I can. So yeah, sure.
That's why I love, your guys' name, the footy culture.
Yeah.
Literally is the culture of the sport.
And we're happy enough that we have a variety of Bundesliga, a Dortmund fan,
Yeah.
Juventus, Serie A, and then 3 Barca fans, which sucks.
Yeah, we're a little imbalanced.
I'm the United fan. I'm the Premier League, but we have him, Matthews, you just met, and then my brother who are just Barca fans, which is
The guy barking upstairs.
which is unfortunate, but we have to deal with it at times. But it's good.
Oh yeah, it gets bad. Once like Barca loses, that's when it's the worst.
All the excuses.
No,
in
that's
the
when it's
group
the
chat.
best in here.
No, it's the best for us, but like the worst because all the excuses is Real Madrid and paying the refs. Like, oh, shut up.
Relax. Serious. But in the World Cup, do you support England?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
Over Canada?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. And that raised a lot of eyebrows, a lot of questions. Love Canada. I support them, obviously, with my whole entire heart still. But there's just something about the English heritage and
Mhm.
for England to bring it home, even though it might never come home. But that's just, again, like what I grew up with was always English culture. Like we
For sure.
always followed all the royals. And on Christmas Day, we would watch the Queen's speech. And like, we grew up sort of
Cool.
English
Yeah.
in Canada. If that makes
Yes.
sense.
Do you drink your tea like this too?
Maybe not. Crumpets.
Wait, what was your breakfast looking like? Right up.
Well, usually like crumpets or something
Okay.
like that. Like
Not-
full English.
Not like the beans, toast.
Oh, I'm not a huge bean.
Okay.
Mm.
'Cause I've seen photos of that English breakfast.
Yeah.
I've had it. I like it.
Yeah. And that's
Especially-
get the blood pudding in there, even that's a bit Scottish, and that's disgusting.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
You like blood pudding?
It's like a blood sausage kind of, right?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, they have the similar thing in South America.
Oh yeah.
So it's part of people's culture.
So where do you get like a good crumpet around here?
It's not great. You have to make your own.
Yeah.
I sometimes get like the PC crumpets.
Yeah.
They're okay, but they're not the same.
Yeah.
Costco crumpets.
They got crumpets at Costco.
Costco is everything, man.
I see them.
But no, like it's true though. Like you've watched England play international football, I'm sure since the day you've been watching football, right? And Canada World Cup, qualifying to hopefully into Copa America is new to us. So we didn't really grow up watching Canadian national team football.
Yeah.
I'm Ecuadorian. I watched Ecuador play ever, and then when England knocked us out of the 2006 World Cup, I was also crying in that moment too. Remember?
Ecuador was pretty good.
David Beckham free kick. I remember that moment like it was yesterday. But it's true. Like I'm sure Italian, Brazilian.
Yeah, like we all support like our ethnicities
Yeah.
first internationally.
Yeah.
But again, we hope to see Canada qualify for Copa America. We're gonna see Canada play in the World Cup,
Yeah.
where we want to be there present. Watching these games. Where, lucky enough, it's around the corner from us. So
Yeah.
down the street from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Canadian like football, soccer is in such a state of growth. It's such an opportunity of growth. They just have to take advantage of it, and they have to take advantage of it well, and they have to start now. The next World Cup in 2026, that's a couple of years of
Yeah.
it's really not that long. They need to figure out their coaching situation. They need to figure out the behind the scenes drama within Canada soccer, and they need to start training players to be able to compete against some of the best teams in the world. So, on the women's side, hopefully our women this summer will defend our gold medal at the Olympics.
Yeah.
So that'll be great. And there's so much, growth in soccer in Canada. The Professional Women's Soccer League is coming in 2025. Obviously, there's the CPL, obviously more developmental leagues, but I just hope that we'll be able to show young people that professional sports for women and men are normal in Canada, even if it's obviously at a much lower level.
Yeah.
It's just the start. It's coming and it's early. So
Yep, absolutely.
be there.
But we'll see. I mean, Canada scoring the first World Cup goal.
That's crazy. That was a good goal.
Emotional. It's pretty
We
emotional.
were all together. We were, hugging and crying.
Thought something was gonna happen.
Yeah.
we thought it was gonna go in a right direction, but then things turned south really quick. But overall, like definitely a good shout to them, and a lot to come this year. Have you seen a lot of growth in soccer since, like you said, growing up you didn't see much of it back in Stratford, to where like when the last time you visited, or even like having friends or family over there talking about it more?
Sure. I mean, I think everybody plays as a kid in like the little Timbits leagues and the youth leagues and all that stuff. People play because it's just something you do when you're a kid and growing up playing sports. And
It's accessible too, pretty cheap.
sure. But where I see the growth is in more people talking about it, more people supporting the Canadian men's and women's national teams, more people being interested in other leagues like the Premier League, La Liga, all of those other things. There's, you see the occasional jersey walking around now.
Yeah.
And you never would have seen that. However, still a hockey town, still a
Yeah.
hockey place, still a hockey country. It will always be a hockey country.
Think so?
But
I'm seeing things change. Like for example, down the street from us, there was actually a hockey arena converted now to a full fledged soccer facility now.
that's so cool.
Yeah, so we're not for anything.
Times are changing.
We're seeing a change a little bit. Maybe because the immigration too. Maybe it's I guess soccer is a little bit more
Worldwide.
spoken worldwide and seen worldwide. Where I guess the immigration does help grow that sport a little bit more here. And again, like Jay mentioned, the accessibility to it, right? You literally just need a ball, 2 guys to just kick a ball around. You're not looking to get too much stuff dealing with equipment and not to play the sport. But that's how we met. Playing on the street together. We all live in the same area. Just picking up a ball and playing together. Even though we didn't play our ball hockey, street hockey at times, but at the end of the day, soccer brought us close, right? So
Poetic.
yeah,
And again, the success that the women's team obviously had at the Olympics and the men's team being on the world stage for the first time,
yeah,
people are gonna see that, and you can't discount what that means.
oh for sure,
Generation.
yeah,
It sends shockwaves for sure.
yeah.
You just gotta keep taking steps forward, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't take any steps backwards.
Exactly.
Hopefully not.
Makes me nervous.
Yeah,
Nothing's happening quite yet, but we'll see.
Well, look, Julia, we've had a blast, but we have one more question to ask you that we ask everyone. Who's your GOAT? Who's your football GOAT?
and anyone,
Any player.
who's your goal?
Christine Sinclair.
You're the second person to say that on the podcast.
Oh, I love
Yeah. Dunlop?
No, thanks.
Henricks.
Agua.
He's actually the photographer for Team Canada.
Oh, cool.
We had him on the podcast. He's Vancouver born, but he comes often. They have a magazine, Darby, right behind you there. He's actually wearing their sweater. They focus more on obviously the Canadian
side of
sport,
things, yeah.
bringing out the stories from Canadian players, teams, and whatnot. But yeah, he takes photography for Team Canada, and he mentioned Sinclair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think just obviously being a woman, like from a woman's perspective, what she's done for the game is obviously be incredible and has more international goals than half of the GOATs.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to say this is like a gender thing, but people don't recognize some of the accomplishments and why some of the players are playing today in the women's game are because of Christine.
Oh
Yeah.
After the whole generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She's definitely one.
Gotta go with her. Gotta go with our, Canadian girl.
No, for sure.
No,
Good shout.
I honestly, I love that. That's a good one.
Shout out Christine.
Yeah.
Shout out Christine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hot pick, but it's been a pleasure. Thank you, Julia, for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
And this has been another episode of the Footy Culture Podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. I'm sure all socials will be here, as well as Julia. Make sure to go follow her on TikTok because that's what's popping, as well as Instagram. So-
yeah.
That's it for us. You know who we are.
We're the Culture Boys.
Culture, man.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Bye. Awesome.
Awesome. That was great.
Is that good?
Yeah.
That was incredible, yeah.
Boy, let's
Well done.
like just wanted to be with content,